hot. I'd rather it be hot. Oh my goodness. So my mustache, I think. Hello, 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 hello. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this. Trying to keep this short, and I don't want y'all to like trying to figure out what I'm saying through all the wind. Do apologize for that. I gotta learn how to deal with the wind and everything else. Well, anyway, the story was like a long time ago, not several years ago, but a long time ago. I was going to seminary and I went, and then they said for us to find a church home. Found a church home at a Chinese church. Loved them. All the folks who was doing the youth group, Sunday school, and all that stuff. Loved them. Anyway, I, you know, was asked to do the Bible study first and did that. That was the experience that I, didn't expect. Then later on, I was asked to join the youth group. Did that for a few years, and did my thing there. There was a few people there. It was like, and I didn't. There was two ladies there. Um, One of them eventually graduated, I believe. I may be wrong. Then the other stayed until they graduated and things of that nature. And I didn't want to try to trying to look at them like potential girlfriends or anything like that because they were because it's like I don't know. Well, that was me and me. Well, anyway, fast forward, the one that was getting their degree later on, developed feeling for them, but no, don't didn't know the whole deal. One time, one of the younger, well, one of the people who was, I believe, in college, or I don't know if they were in college or if they were in, graduate school or anything. We were getting talking and, mentioned that I was, you know, shooting the breeze, whatever, whatever. Then he mentioned that person's name, and I was like, but he mentioned it in a way, I don't know, it threw me off how he mentioned, but I stood, I was like, I didn't know, but at that time I started to quote unquote feel some type of way because I'm like, did he have any history with this person? So I backed off, and then emotionally I was, being a wreck that rest of that year because of that, and it was, and whenever they were around, they had fun together, and things of that nature. They were, you know, buddy buddy to me. And I took a picture of it, and I was like, and I saw how they reacted with each other. I'm like, I felt like they may have had something history. I don't know, but then another year came around, and she was in a relationship with somebody that they used to that and because they were friends prior to that, they were friends a long time ago, overseas and things of that nature. So I was, dealing with that, but I learned how to accept it and things like that. And it's right around when I was learning to accept it, they broke up. Uh, so yeah, that happened. Time, things that nature. Internship. From internship, they go on a mission, things like that, and I don't see them until a messed up year, which is, I believe, 2012 or 13. I don't know. It was around that time when I was getting kicked out, and also there was a situation that happened at a conference that it was kind of jacked up. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know which conference I was at, but you know, I was at a conference one year, and found a table to sit at, by myself, because I don't like joining people's tables because I feel awkward and I feel like the odd man out. And mind you, I was at a Chinese conference, well, Chinese church, conference, things of that nature. I don't know, but that was just me. But anyway, a few people decided to sit with me, and it was a couple. And the couple happened to be the one dude who, shot the breeze with me a while ago, and his wife, things of that nature. They sat down with me, and they held hands and prayed, and things of that nature. We was talking, shooting the breeze and everything. He eventually ended up asking me, what kind of person am I looking for, relationship wise and all that other stuff. I think I gave him a blanket statement or a general statement, generic one. It was empty. Well, anyway, all this other stuff. So I'm like, why are you asking me? You know, and part of me is like, do you have somebody in mind? You know, do you have a list of people? And may I ask, is that lady's name in that list or not in that list? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I felt that way. I was like, if you're trying to hook me up, like, hook me up. Don't, give me the hookup. Give me the hookup. Don't just try to play it off saying, is, how about give me a list of people that you didn't want me to date? That would have been better. That would have been more, that would have been more useful, because I think I knew. Well, anyway, life happens, years go by, whatever. One time I was on Facebook and I was going through the main page. I noticed a photo, and in the photo was him and I guess I don't know who was all in there. I don't know if old girl was there or not, but it was him. I think they were doing some sort of physical activity, but I noticed that the wife wasn't there. I'm like, where's the wife? I'm like, cause it was weird. This is the same couple that sat with me and they prayed and held hands and prayed and bowed their heads and prayed together, stuff like that. I would think they'd be more involved within each other. I'm like, or may I ask the question of, did the honeymoon stop? But, cause I don't, and I don't, it's none of my business about what their situation is. It's none of my business what their status is, whether it's on social media or not. I don't know. It's not for me to care about. But to have it displayed like that, I would assume that it would be like that, in social media or whatever. I think I saw his profile picture, and I didn't see the unity or everything else. And part of me is wondering what's really happening, because I don't like the fake marriage and the fake all this other stuff. I don't, if you marry with somebody, marry with somebody. And my other additional question is, are you gonna trying to see trying to be with old girl? Because if that's the case, do that. You know what I'm saying? Do that. Don't just beat around the bush, because if they interact with each other pretty well, they have fun with each other and things like that nature. My take on it is, maybe they should be together. If they have a comfort with each other and stuff like that. If it's the age that's a trouble, that's a problem. Yeah. But my take on it is, the people that you feel, and he may have been defensive. That's why I was saying, when he mentioned old girl's name, it seemed kind of defensive too. But I'm like, why be defensive? I'm not a bad guy. If you think I'm a bad guy because the way I look, do I have to spell it out because I'm black? Then that's a problem. Not to me, but to them. Or how my behavior is. Just the way if you're gonna be upfront about it with me, don't beat around the bush, because I don't, don't mess with it, not mean don't mess, just don't beat around the bush, and don't be, be upfront about it, because I'll tell you the truth. skin color don't determine how well you treat a person. It's, you know, head and brain. So you know, I'm not evil because of my skin color. It's like, shoot, if folks have that in their brain, they need to go. Yeah, their brain is warped. So yeah, that's what I was sharing in that video. Hopefully, yeah, and my take on it now is time heals all things, wounds and everything else. Closure, it may or may not happen. What I do know is I need to be focused on what I am doing. Especially, it's been many years, so why just whatever. I'll really tell the truth. I need to be focused on what I am doing, and growing as how I want to grow. And if I'm growing, I'm gonna grow in private. Not to show it off, because some people be looking at it like, oh, you got whatever, you got this and this and this, and they want to be around me. I'm like, no, be around me when I'm at my lowest, be around me when I'm at my highest, be around me when I'm stale or stagnant, be around me when I'm growing and everything else. Be around me in general. That's my take on it. So if this camera picked it up, cool. If it didn't, I'll try it again, because I was trying to rush the story, and yeah, but it was something I had to go through. Hopefully folks don't have to go through what I have to go through, but I hope folks, if they did, I hope they learn from it, what they went through, and they have any pointers, cool. I'll take those, cause yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I gotta say, and two fingers.